Spider-Man, Spider-Man, punching Nazis with his hand. Look out, you fucking assholes, here comes the Spider-Man. I'm saying it couldn't have been William Love because he was with me all day volunteering at the soup kitchen over here. Yo, what is up? Today is therapy day, and this is the first vlog we've shot, I think, in like 3 weeks. So we've got a few things to go over. Let me start by addressing the. Is there an elephant in here? Low key showing off over here. The that is not the reason why I'm filming more of my vlogs in here like this. There's a couple reasons. I just wanted to address it. Nobody has said anything to me about it, but like literally like 5 people watch these, which is I appreciate you. But I just want to put it out there anyway. Is it feels weird. There's a lot of reasons, but one, it feels weird filming my vlog out there on the street like that because one, my like social anxiety gets amped up a little bit more, and then it looks weird because I'm not saying anything to people and everything, but my eyes can't help but wander when there's pretty girls back and forth. Every once in a while a pretty guy, but mostly pretty girls. And, I can't help but, like, look and be like, good. Um, and I get it. It's a bad look or whatever, I try to be discreet in my eye wandering, but sometimes it's hard, especially when, like, the camera's, like, smacking me in the face. But anyway, that's why we're doing more of the vlogs. Hey, it's my new thumbnail. That's why we're doing more of the vlogs just like this. And also, I usually when I go to see my therapist, usually I go get groceries and stuff afterwards. And so then, not that it's hard to carry my camera back up here with the groceries and everything, but it's just one more thing, even though I've got this little, like sling bag that I'm carrying the pocket 3 around when I do, but it is whatever. Pardon me for a second. Sorry, I just turned off the crack baby because it's kind of like flashing and, I'm sure you could see that. So I just turned that off. But anyway, I am sitting up here with my super gross Mountain Dew, sucralose Mountain Dew. Yeah, just in case you don't understand my silly goose lingo, super gross Mountain Dew. But it hits the spot now. So let's start with that. With my diabetes, with my Wilford Brimley's disease. I do a very good Wilford Brimley impression by having diabetes. I have been about 3.5 weeks now without sugar. I think if my scales are accurate and it's not just like water weight or something like that, because I'm within that range. But and it also could be that the batteries on my scales need to be replaced because they haven't been replaced in a pretty good while. But I weighed myself. Was it? I don't even remember when. It was like last week or something like that. It said I was down about 10 pounds basically, and then I weighed myself again the other day, and it says that I'm down another 5 pounds. So the last time I was weighed was at the diabetes specialist lady at the diabetes re-education camp. That's not really what it's called. But, they weighed me in, I want to say, roughly around 315, somewhere between 315 and 320. It might have been like 317. Anyway, so my scales the other day say 304. Or no, not 304, excuse me, 300 0.4. So if that's accurate, then I'm down at least 15 pounds, which is, not too shabby for not doing exercise within, within a few weeks. Um, but to be fair, you know, drinking those regular Mountain Dews in the morning, I was drinking like almost a whole 6 pack, like every single morning. Each can of Mountain Dew is like 46 grams of sugar. And so, oh boy, I was drinking a lot of Mountain Dew, um, a lot of sugar, So, uh, in theory, which is probably correct, and I say theory and not hypothesis because, um, giving up all of that sugar, cold turkey, I'm probably going to lose some weight. I'm probably going to lose some more weight without having to do anything extra. Not that I'm not going to do anything extra, because I am. I'm also altering or working on altering the way that I eat. Well, I've altered it already a good bit. Um, Eating more things like tilapia and rice, brown rice specifically, and broccoli, and protein bars and protein shakes. And I'm planning to start doing for the breakfast, just because the protein pastry things are really expensive. All that protein shit is way too expensive. So I'm thinking about doing some like hard-boiled eggs for the morning. Just every week, make a big thing of hard-boiled eggs and eat a few each morning, and make that my breakfast. But at any rate, so I'm also starting to, well, I'll say after a few days without being in sugar, a lot of these drinks that tasted so bad before, like the super gross Mountain Dew, before I gave up the sugar, were just fucking disgusting. Pardon my language, but yeah, they were. It was super gross. The only one that was palatable at all was Diet Coke, but my taste buds changed. Like after a few days, everything tasted different. And all of a sudden, the Diet Coke started tasting a little bit better. The super gross Mountain Dew started being not so super gross, to like now it kind of like is hitting the spot. Um, the Cherry Coke Zero, which before was completely off the table, it was super gross. Even though it's not sucralose, it was super gross. And or maybe it is sucralose. I don't know. But it's tasting pretty good now. And there's a few other things too. I am gonna, start trying different diet and zero sodas, I think, again, just to kind of feel around and see, what is better and what's not better now. Though I'm kind of thinking, I need to add more like these flavored waters and stuff, because my water percentage is still down a little bit. I think it's like around 40%. It should be between like 50 to 70. So it's better than it was, at least. The thing that's really kind of surprising me is, um, like, oh boy, how do I say this appropriately? Um, Things feel different with my body. Um, it feels like, like I'm getting new nerve endings, and, feeling things on my skin um, that aren't, or that, sensations that haven't been there for like decades. I don't really know how to explain that. I can't think of any good ways. Um, but, it's weird. It's weird, but it's pretty good for the most part. And, excuse me. Um, excuse me. Um, this is an experience. So, this is Oh boy, it's an all new thing for me. And I've also found that huh, a lot of my diabetic friends that have like grown up diabetic, kind of, they've had diabetes for a really long time, that gave me a really hard time at first because I wasn't taking my diabetes seriously. Like, I get that part. I get that part. It's just that, but they've basically disappeared now. They're nowhere around to like give me advice or anything. And I think that, because I'm posting a lot on Facebook and social media now about, you know, my experience with this, and I think a lot of my diabetic friends are just kind of like rolling their eyes, like, okay, we get it, blah, blah, blah. But like, I want you guys to understand, if you're one of those people watching this, I appreciate you, and I'm not talking shit or anything. That's why I'm not mentioning any names or anything like that. But, I want you to know I feel for you, for having to go your whole life or most of your life, you know, with this disease. But you got to understand that this is new to me. This is new to me. And I've been on sugar my entire life, literally my entire life. I cannot remember a time that sugar was not a part of a staple of my diet. As maybe not as like an infant, but as young as I can remember, I was running to Mimi's fridge and grabbing a Coca-Cola. And when it wasn't Coca-Cola, it was like those like little juices in the little barrel, little plastic barrel things, and Kool-Aid and sweet tea and candy and Reese cups, one of my all-time favorites, and cake and ice cream. And it's always been sugar, 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 my whole entire life. So this is new to me. It's scary. It's hard. I'm already like missing things. I was just talking yesterday about how much I already miss my Big Macs, and I miss my Popeye's fried chicken sandwich, and my frozen Fantas, my Slurpees, cake, ice cream, all of that stuff. My Gushers candy. Um, so I feel for you for having to go so your whole life or most of your life dealing with this stuff. But of course, I'm going to complain about and talk about it because this is new to me and it's hard. Um, you know, what I want from you is just a little bit of support. A little bit of encouragement, maybe even a little bit of constructive criticism is welcome. Advice. Um, you know, I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to be better. Um, and so far, a little bit at a time. Well, a lot of bit at a time, because I think I am in this past almost month doing a lot better. I feel more alive. I'm starting to have the opposite of that exhaustion problem that I've been having for seems like the past forever now, where I was dozing off even after the starting the BiPAP and the oxygen at night. Um, that helped a whole lot. But I was still having periods where, I'm getting tired during the day and I don't have energy, and all of that. Most of that is starting to completely turn around now. I have not felt this like awake, so to speak, in, again, years, maybe even decades. Um, so much so that I'm starting to have a little bit of the opposite problem again that I had when I was like younger, like teenager, young adult, where I lay down and, have trouble like getting to sleep. Hi, Rosetta. My landlord's outside, just left something at my door. I'll go check it in a minute. I have no fear, love that woman to death because I have zero fear that it's going to be anything bad. If anything, she just left either some coupons or some hot peppers at my door. Um, Landlords like that are one in a million, baby. One in a million. I fucking appreciate it. Sorry, get way off subject there. Just next thing is I am trying to dive deeper into learning, the setups and stuff on my guitars. I just released this morning that video where I don't really do any real guitar work other than changing the strings on Poppy, but um, I released that this morning, and I have another video that I've already recorded where let me see if I can lean back and get it in the shot. Um, I changed the strings on Mr. Bones. Back here I can't tell because the screen on the Pocket 3 is so small. But, yeah, so I changed the strings on Mr. Bones back there and replaced the eyeballs. The eyeballs popped off, the ones that I put in the video that we have left to edit. And so I went ahead and got some glue. And I gave that skull some glue because skulls love glue, I think. Anyway, these eyeballs are staying on. So it was my first time changing the strings on a Floyd Rose. I got through that pretty easily, actually. Barely an inconvenience, as they say. And I also finally got some magnets on the back of the headstock to, keep the bob wrench, or was it the Pamela wrench or Allen's wrench or something like that, pinned to the back of it or magnetically attached to the back of the headstock. It's not a perfect solution, but it works. And then I did successfully, again, for the first time that I've ever done anything like this, I did successfully fix or level out the tremolo bridge on my Strat. But I think that there's a bow or like a reverse bow or whatever you want to call it on the neck, because like the action is pretty low up like around the first, second, third, fourth, fifth frets. But as you get closer to the bridge, that action starts getting higher and higher, and it feels like a reverse bow. Or whatever you want to call it. And so I guess now I'm going to have to learn how to do that too. And I am really nervous about trying to adjust the truss rod. The action, not as much, but, I've never done either one of these. But I do know that, you got to be really careful adjusting the truss rod, because if you overdo it, you can mess up the truss rod. And then if you mess up the truss rod, it breaks or whatever. Your only solution after that is just to put a new neck on it. And that's not going to be cheap or easy. But yeah, so that's going to be like a whole nother video, I guess, that we'll do that. And I am also planning this month to buy a set of tools for the guitar work and stuff. Because I do, again, just to reiterate, if you didn't see the other videos, I'm trying to learn to do more of the setup work and stuff myself so that I don't have to pay other people to do it. Starting with this kind of stuff, as it pops up, and hope and pray that I'm able to get to all of this stuff before I have to start working on nuts or even worse, frets. I really don't want to have to do fret work. That's the reason I haven't tried to do one of those like Leo James Build-A-Kit, because I watched some of the, Scar My Guitar channel on the UbiTubes. And, it looks really cool. I like the idea of like getting one of those guitars unfinished, and then being able to, do my own paint job on it, to paint it the way that I want it to be. Um, but every time he does one of those, or they do, because sometimes his wife comes in there and, does one too. Um, but, they always have to do something with the frets, and that just turns me off. I don't want to have to polish the frets or, sand them down. I don't want to do the fret work. I'm not ready for that yet. I am not ready for that. I do want to do one of those kits someday, but I think I need to master my setup work first. And if I have enough left over, I might buy another Firefly guitar if I have enough left over, because it's for as far as guitars go, it's super cheap. But and the Firefly Bones. Oh yeah, I didn't mention that. Just on a quick side quest, if you watched the video coming up or the clip that I've already uploaded, um, where I had the problem with the locking nut up at the top. I sent a link to that video and a description to Firefly customer service. And I was, they emailed me back within a few days, and they offered me $20. And I took it, because I wasn't expecting anything from that. I damn sure didn't want to like send the guitar back or anything like that, because I like the guitar. It's just one, well, not minor thing, but less than major thing. And I wanted to bring it to their attention more than anything. And they offered me $20, so I took it. But anyway, so they've got a green Les Paul right now, or a green Les Paul copy, however you want to look at that, a Les Paul style guitar with a green bat finish. Please, you guys, don't buy these up, because I really, really want to get one next month. That guitar looks almost perfect. There's a few things I'd like to be different on it, but man, it's so pretty. It is so pretty with the green binding and the green burst, and I want it. I looked this morning into like how much the what's it called, the Gibson Custom Shop in Tennessee. Oh boy, because I've got a major idea for a guitar that I want to get made. Well, actually, I want to get made two of them, two versions of it, the same thing, with basically the same body and everything. Just one be a regular guitar, the other be a baritone guitar, and then have different pickups, and then have like the regular guitar be like a more bright, like neon green, and then have the other one a little bit darker. Have the baritone be like a little bit darker of a green. Just, I think that would be really, really fucking cool. Um, you know, and basically, I want to use the Les Paul Junior slash Special 1960 models body, which is, the Les Paul with the double cutaway. And then instead of having like the normal arches like it has, I want the circular part or oval, whatever, of the body to be like a turtle shell. But then instead of like the traditional like little arches for the double cutaway, turn the arches into like turtle claws. If they can't like sculpt it to look like turtle claws, then maybe just keep the arches but paint them to look like turtle claws, if that had to be done that way. And then of course the neck is the neck, and then paint the headstock into like the turtle head. Um, that would be my dream, you know. And for I don't know what I'd use for the baritone, but I think for pickups on the baritone, I think I would probably use some kind of humbuckers, because for a baritone, it definitely I think should be beefier. But I want to put P90s on the regular guitar. That's you know P90s are amazing. And I do have a guitar here, complete side quest. Again, I have a thin line. It's basically from the Paranormal series a few years back. It's a thin line telly body with Jazzmaster pickups, except that the Jazzmaster pickups aren't real or true Jazzmasters. But to me, they kind of sound like a cross, like a pair of Jazzmasters and a pair of P90s had a baby together and put the baby into this guitar, and it's very unique. It's good. It's a very nice, good sound. Because the Jazzmaster pickups are amazing. P90s are amazing, obviously, and so you got that. It's like almost right between them, and it's mwah. For like it was like I think a $430 guitar or something like that. It's amazing. It really is. Yeah, so we covered the video we just released, the one that we've already recorded but needs to be edited. Sorry about the smoke. I bring the smoke. That's just what I do. The album, the Headrush Prime album. Uh, the Headrush Prime is going to have a successor version, a whole new version of the effects unit by the time I finish this album. Uh, I think that I am almost done with the vocals for the first song. I definitely have to re-record because it's a medley of 3 songs. The second part, it's basically like a parody of Suicidal Tendencies, How Will I Laugh Tomorrow, except it's called How Will I Dab Tomorrow If I Dab Up on My Gravy Today. Anyway, so I did record the first couple parts of the vocals, and I'm definitely going to have to redo that until we get to the today. If I dab up on my gravy today, how will I dab tomorrow? If I dab up on my gravy today. If I dab up on my gravy today. You think something's funny, sir? That's my face. Anyway, yeah, so I'm going to have to re-record that part, and the tribute to CUTCH was the important part, which is the don't do drugs, don't do drugs, don't do drugs, like marijuana. I didn't have anything written for that because CUTCH didn't have anything written for that when he made this song. Whenever they played it live, he improvised the lyrics. The only thing I know of that was like actually, regular that he used was always, I mean, of course, the guitar parts, the music, but the line about working at Tasty Freeze and the hook, which was don't do drugs, don't do drugs, don't do drugs, like marijuana. So, I wanted to give it my own style because it's, me doing the song. What was that? Just some bullshit, but on a side note, good. So I'm just talking about like not that being a whole bad look, whatever. I like to look at pretty girls. I'm sorry, but I wanted to do my own style for it, and but I wanted to keep it pure to CUTCH's style and to CUTCH's art, and what CUTCH created with it, and so I figured the only way for me to properly do that is to keep it an improvisation or a freestyle, because the way that I do it is much more like a rap than the way CUTCH did it. But which I think for the most part it sounds pretty good. It's silly. It's weird for me because I'm not good at freestyling or improvising, on the spot like that. But I think it sounds pretty good to get through the first verse, and then the second verse, I kind of fell off, and I got to a line where I start like just mentioning stuff from Reefer Madness, and I said something about I was jumping out of windows and playing the piano faster, faster. No, I mean faster. No, faster. I mean play it faster, you bastard. Play it faster. And then I said a few lines after that like it's just it was dumb. That I was like, okay, I don't know. What I was gonna do was I was gonna go back and like re-record a whole new line there, and just do something else there. And I thought that's not very. If I do that, though, that's not very true to the way CUTCH did things. CUTCH did not believe in editing, re-editing songs that he wrote or did, or like keeping everything pure to the way that he thought it. We kind of disagreed on that point, but again, this is his song, really, even if I'm putting my own freestyle on top of it, and I want it to stay pure and true to CUTCH. It's a tribute to CUTCH. So what I did in the meantime, because I knew I wasn't going to have time to like actually re-record anything yet, and so I boosted up some of the background vocals and stuff, and then kept a few snippets of the main improvisation, whatever you want to call it, freestyle, and I did it dub style. And I just added, a couple little extra things in there to where I get to that part, because it's like right when the snare and stuff kicks in, and I'm like dub style, and of course, threw in the echo, the delay, and stuff, and then I come back into the part where I come back into me freestyling whatever, and say, okay, that's enough of the dub style. It's kind of fun, and so I might just keep it that way. I don't know yet. Like I said, I'm definitely going to re-record most of the vocals for the second part, and the third part I'm pretty sure that's just going to stay the way that it is. 819 SELMA. So the next song I'm going to do, again, just to remind those of you who, do keep up, and for, I guess, my first timers, I hope it was good for you. I'm sorry. You know, the way that I'm trying to do this album is, aside from it being a thing of me exploring the Head Rush Prime and all of that, is, I'm starting off kind of fun and, don't do drugs, like marijuana. Then the next song I plan on recording it's basically just a little run that I play sometimes just for the fun of it, that I like came up with this little run on the bass and then translated it to guitar bass, essentially. And it's kind of fun, but I think that the only words I'm going to put on top of that is up and down the halls, chase them pom-pom balls. Up and down the halls, she chased them pom-pom balls. If you haven't figured that out, I guess she's still in the living room napping. We're talking about my cat, Keys, Alicia Keychains. And it works out perfect because doing it that way, because the way the first song ends, I'm definitely leaving this in because you get a nice loud meow from her, like right as I'm, the last notes of the song are hitting. And so then we'll lead into that, and then will be my song Cower Through. And then after that, the album's going to start taking a little bit of a plunge and sort of descend into chaos and madness. That's the direction that I'm going with, because most of the songs that I've written in my life, are pretty dark. Stuff like Shadows and You Versus Them. I literally have a song which is probably going to end up on this album called I Cut Myself. Well, I Cut Myself slash sickest game because it's the sickest game I've ever played. Um, yeah, so, I mean, I do plan on rounding all of that up in the end, and doing some, surprise stuff with it. But yeah, that's the plan. If you can't tell that I have more energy now than I've probably had the entire history of my YouTube channel. And I'm also hungry. Just, a complete side thing. I'm also fucking hungry right now. I'm always hungry now. It's maybe I need to hurry up and start that Manjanero, whatever it's called. Manjan Habanero, I think, is what it's called. I know that, I mean, this channel has gone through so much and been, come through so many different things. I'm not even really talking to hardships or whatever, though there's been a few. But, we started off on YouTube. I know that now we're posting these on Facebook and Instagram. And, well, Instagram when possible, and which isn't very often, and YouTube. But we started off doing these, like the unboxing videos on YouTube. And we did that shit for 4 years. And then, kind of bounced around doing unboxings and VR videos and, the different thing, ramble sessions and smoke sessions. And I think one of the most fun to do was, I think, that ASMR video that we did. Oh boy. I don't know what I was thinking, but it was fun. It was fun. It was kind of cringy, but it was fun. Good God, we're almost up in here recording for 45 minutes. This is supposed to be a quick, easy vlog. Uh, I'm a Mog. Half man, half dog. Woof, woof, baby. Woof, woof. Uh, but, I threw the ride-alongs and, consequently, I want to mention that too is, you know, the thing that really got me feeling the music bug again was actually here a while back when I wiped out on the scooter. Um, Boy, it's a really weird thing because, oh my God, I couldn't do much of anything with my wrist after that. And I kept looking at my, since it's my little traveler base right here. And like I kept looking at it and thinking, oh man, see now that my wrist hurts, I want to play and I can't. And so I picked it up and ooh, a little bit out, but anyway, so I picked it up and I started playing it anyway, and I'm like, God damn, that hurts. God damn, that hurts. But what I noticed was, after a few minutes, after I put it back down, after a few minutes, it felt like my wrist was feeling better a little bit. Not healed, but, a little bit better. And so then later, I picked it up, I started playing a little bit more, and I could play a little bit better than I was playing previously. And but it still hurt. But I just kept doing that, and for I don't know, a couple weeks or something like that until most of the pain just completely subsided. There at the end, it was getting to where like everything was pretty okay except for like chords, like where when your hand has to really hook, like a C chord or a G chord wasn't too bad, but a C chord or like an F chord, it hurt. Um, but it seemed like it was helping, and maybe that was just a placebo thing, and like my wrist was just healing anyway, and it kind of just uh, whatever, correlated, or well, I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, so that's what got me in a big way back into wanting to play again, and like here I am, just playing with myself all the time. Anyway, I can't think of anything else. So that anything else pertinent, or Percocets or whatever. So maybe if I do, come back and do another vlog or something here later, and I don't know. But sorry, just uh, yeah. So thank you all for sticking around with me, and we got new music coming. We got new videos coming. Um, I'm trying to do more. I'm trying to do more and more and more. Uh, yeah. We'll get wild, wild, wild. Oh, yeah. It's the final countdown or whatever. Da-da-da-da. I am sorry. I'm sorry. I'm simple. Anyway, I love you all, and I'll see you in the next one, baby. Whatever that is. Well, I could guess it'd be more the guitar videos. So, yeah, I'll see you there, baby. I love yous. Bye-bye. Basically, I did say the words, basically. Spider-Man, Spider-Man, punching out Nazis with his hand. Look out, you asshole, here comes the Spider-Man.